Hey, I'm Eric O'Keefe. I'm here with Rita Payeur, and she is a really special client that's been working with Julianne Turner now for a time. We're talking around 3 years or so, and Rita's agreed to come on to talk about her story, to talk about her experience. But not only that, she's here to talk about how Julianne has helped her shape and shift her life and her business. So we're going to talk a lot about that. And what I want to do, Rita, is first off, I want to say thank you for taking the time to come on and do this. The second thing I want to do is I want to step back to maybe those 3 years ago, before you started working with her, and kind of just figure out what it was and why you ended up working with Julianne. What was the big thing that led you to working with her?
Back then, I was searching for a coach that would help me put my message together and clarify what I wanted to contribute to the world. I already knew that I would be working with menopausal women. That was my mission. I was clear on that. But I had to put together the programs, the way of thinking around that, where I really wanted to go. So when I reached for her, the connection was like very quick, and I felt that she was the right person for me at that time. So I
So,
just
okay.
went.
So you knew what you wanted to do, what you were doing. It was just there were so many different pieces that were out there. You didn't have a way to kind of just put them all together in one straight line type of thing. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Now there's a lot of coaches, and there's a lot of people out there that claim to be business coaches or life coaches. You said you had an instant connection with Julianne. What was it that kind of drew you to her in the beginning? Like, what was it? Because there's so many people. I'm just curious to know what it was that really kind of attracted you to her in the beginning.
Well, I think it's her whole being. It's the way she connected with me, and I saw her do that every time, like in our group community, um, and that was very precious for me. I think at the beginning I thought I wanted a business coach, only business. Okay, but when I spoke to her, I really realized, and when I listened to one of her webinar, that when I said, "Oh yeah, I really like that message," so I connected with her and with her message and the way she is working too. That made so much sense for me um, to see the picture, the vision, the destination, and see where I really wanted to go with the business, and that made a big difference.
Okay. And what we'll do is we'll talk about how she's helped you specifically in just a second. I'm just a little bit curious, more curious to know about who she is and what it's actually like. Like, you've gotten to know her now. You've been working with her for years. So what is it like actually working with her? What's that experience like?
Well, she's an open-hearted person. She welcomed everything I went through uh, in personal ways too. She was there, and for times it was very difficult for me, and she really was there. Um, and I knew I could count on her to be there to listen. And sometimes we really didn't talk about business. That happened around a few phone calls, one-on-one. Seems we didn't speak about business, but it was really what I had to integrate in my life to be able to put that back in working with women.
And
So that
so
was
there was a in work there was a support that you had while working with her.
yeah,
Okay. Now, as you'd mentioned a group before, so there's it's not just her. There's a group support too. There's community based around this.
yeah, yes, yeah, exactly. And in that group we were a match, with another person. So, and that person became a friend because we spoke almost every 6 weeks to speak about our project, where we were, and that was a great way to work too. So we had the one-on-one, the group session, and the twins, where we were.
Okay. So there was during the process and work, there was a lot of not just support, but accountability too, to make sure that you were moving in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that makes a big difference because when you say you will do something and then the next month you have to say where you are, well, it helps taking, not taking, but stick to the focus that you had set the month earlier. But then sometimes you didn't do what you were supposed to do. But then with the discussion, it was possible to see how I could take that experience and learn around that and go further.
Right. So the support in the groups was not just there, but it was helping you grow.
Yeah, and to see each and everyone in the group growing. Oh, that was amazing. And there was amazing women there. And to see them grow a little step at a time, as we all did, but growing, and see them now, it was like fulfilling. Yeah.
Okay. So you have this group, you have the support, you have this accountability, and you're working through this. We talked about what you were trying to do. You knew what you wanted to do, but trying to put it all together. So let's talk about the benefits, the results, what you've seen while working with Julianne. So I guess what would you say has been, since you've been working with her, what's been the biggest shift that you've made in your business or life since working with her?
Yeah. Well, it was to clarify my message. Put the, if I go by business level, my program together, the website together, doing webinar, searching the word in English, but it's like a webinar, in English it's fireside chat that we called it, and doing that with my tribe and put that together, and then make that into products. So it was like to do each step and keeping it like doing new things for me that I was not used to do, and to say yes to the challenge of doing that.
So that was on the technical side of things, and putting and organizing and bringing that all together. What has she been able to help you do personally, and how it's made you feel?
To own, I think it was to own my value, and that my message was important, and that each person have a unique way to work around. Perhaps it could be the same subject, but every person have a unique way to work around it, and a specific destination in doing that. And to own that and own that and own that. and that was, I think, the biggest thing for me. And she said that to me more than once before it's sucked in, and I think that was the main thing for me, that it was.
Okay. Would you say that what you're doing now and what she's guided you towards has been fulfilling to you, as maybe where it wasn't before? Like, are you fulfilled? Do you feel happier now than what you were doing before?
Yeah, because that made me know where I wanted to go, to have a big vision And that big vision brought me to Europe and to India and to Morocco with that message around menopause. So I worked with her at the beginning around what would be the big picture. And I put that there a few years ago, saying to myself, will it happen? And then to see that unfold, it was like, wow. Yeah.
How does that make you feel, seeing that big vision, that big picture has actually been fulfilled?
Yeah, well, it's like empowering. So on my value and then looking at that, it was very empowering uh, to have those possibilities and say yes, and then see the impact around the message that we clarify together. Because she helped me to clarify exactly what I was all about around menopause. So now when I speak around that, it's much clearer.
So it sounds like, and if correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like things flow better now. It's easier
Yeah,
to kind of go through the processes and doing what you're doing.
yeah, exactly. Because the part where we work around clarify what are the phases around menopause and why the metaphor of the butterfly was the exact one I had to use. That was a big one. That was a big, huge opening for me for the possibility for matrescence. Mm.
And so, since you've gone through this, where is the business now compared to where it was when you first started working with her?
Well, some things that have changes changed. The name of the business have, have changed. Uh, that was a big one. I remember in the group owning that new that new name uh, because it um, in the beginning it was like only menopause, and now it's menopause um, in a whole new way around um, where we go at the next phase of our life as a woman. So to own the fact that that was changing, because it was very challenging for me, like to feel it was I was changing something around my business, and I was very hesitating on doing that. And she really helped me see that picture, that it was so important to do that shift, to go to a bigger place in
Mm.
the message I was contributing to the world.
And so as that message has grown, I'm guessing the business has grown with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Would you say it's significantly bigger than, or just bigger than what it was years ago?
Uh, yeah,
Okay. All right. That makes you feel pretty good too, huh?
yeah.
All right. So then what I want to do is I just want to shift gears. We'll start wrapping up in a second. We were talking a little bit before about what it was like to actually work with Julianne. But I'm curious to know, do you have a few words or a few phrases that truly describe the type of person that she is?
She's a heart center woman. I think she holds in our heart the fact that we grow as a person and in the business. Uh, and she's a easygoing person and a loving person.
And it
And
sounds like along those, that with what you were saying before, that she truly cares about you. Is that correct?
yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Nicely said. Exactly what I wanted to say.
Okay. And then the last question we'll leave on this is, let's say there's somebody who is in a very similar spot to where you were 3 years ago, right? They kind of knew what they wanted to do. They just couldn't put it all together. There was a lot of options. And they're thinking about working with Julianne, but they're still not sure. What would you want to tell that person? Maybe to let them know that Julianne might be a good fit for them.
I think if somebody isn't clear around why they want to do what they want to do, I think Julianne would be a real good fit. If they are open to work on themselves, to open up to around who they are, and if they are like a sole entrepreneur, I think she's a good fit for her to clarify their vision and where they want to go. And if they are not sure around if they should do that or if they are good enough to do that, and then I think she's the first place to go to put that like in alignment, and for them like to be very clear around who they are and what they want to do.
Understood. Well, Rita, thank you so much for taking the time to come on, talk about your journey, talk about your experience, and I think it's just amazing to see how you've been able to achieve this clarification and where you're moving with business, where you're moving with life, and I just want to wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you.
All right, you take care.
Thank you. Bye.